Welcome, party, to Shoreshack Adventures. If you were here last time, you would have remembered the adventure underground. Tasked with solving the town's drainage problems, our party of board boys explored the sewer tunnels to catch the town's waste and burn it within a hot magma flow below. The engineers who journeyed with you all still have their lives, which you were tasked with. Though the less fortunate engineer had a shoulder broken in combat by a massive dwarf. A dwarf that fell to his death. The remaining 5 arms of engineer force went to work and relieved the sewer issue in short time, especially with the help from Shoju Tatu and his unseen servant, as well as some other unseen servants around and Soomper with a pickaxe. But afterwards, there was a chamber collapse and your exit was sealed. You journeyed north, and there you found a hidden chamber, an ancient hidden chamber, with a number of puzzles. As you solved them, you were able to procure items of great wonder and magic, or so they seem. Cecil, your acquaintance, acquired a marvelously decorated pickaxe, and under some party distress, and being pulled by the ring on his toe, Soomper somehow managed to acquire every other magical item that you procured as a party. Unable to shake them or give them back, there was a bit of a tussle, an inter-party tussle. And from Cecil and Siddle, it looked rather amusing, as well probably to the rest of our viewers. Eventually, you let him have them, and decided to proceed out of the cavern through a western exit of Ironton, about 8 to 10 miles away from the city chamber itself. Led there with the 2.5 engineers you have left, you now see an exit. With a scroll in hand of some sort of ancient magic, as well as another scroll that you found in rubble as you were unearthing some sapphires. You have a lot to ponder as a party. What does this mean? What are these new creatures in the caverns? Is it getting hotter down there? What does this mean for Ironton? What will be your next steps? But you have a previous mission. That mission is to talk with the king about all of the going-ons on this island. You're piecing together quite a puzzle that makes up this place. Let's see what happens on this episode of Shoreshack Adventures.
I will sharpen my axe on my enemy's face.
Hey, where's that gold at?
What are we doing here, man?
Jesus, Jehoshaphat! Where did this fucking hat come from?
It feels good to be back.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Make surfboards with my bunyip. I don't even care about the gold anymore.
So, party, welcome to the show. No pun intended. Now, you have seen the cave exit, and you now know for a very certain, under great certainty, that it is nightfall. That it is sometime in the evening. You got into this cave somewhere around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and you had spent somewhere between 10 and 20 hours working in that cave without any rest. As you're approaching the exit, you've been following some mining railings, if you will. There were boxes and such around. There was some talk about taking a long rest. as a party? Do you want to do it inside the cave? Outside the cave? Do you want to bypass that altogether and head straight to Ironton? You feel the exhaustion about you, but you know it's a serious matter of fun. As a reminder, I think the meeting with the king was set for 3 days after you went into the cavern. And you are now still on day 1.5.
Soomper is really tired. He's like, guys, we need the rest. I'm exhausted, emotionally and physically.
I concur. A rest is needed. I do not feel like walking another 8 miles. I just want to shut my eyes and just relax for a while. In the fresh air. No more cave, no more sewer. Just fresh air. And I assume that's fine with you all?
All right, so as you guys start to make camp just outside, I do want to ask you a question. On your journey back, as a party, you have a goal in mind. Combat may or may not be something you want to tackle on your way back. As you're journeying, if you sense danger or noises or curiosity, I want to ask, would you use that curiosity and follow it to figure out what it is, or just try to bypass everything altogether?
I think it would depend upon each individual. Yeah, we are still heavy with a pikeman and a crossbowman, and we do still have our other 2 companions tagging along, even though I don't really want them there. But yeah, we do still have Siddle and Cecil.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really think it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Depends, are we walking along a road, or are we just trekking through the woods? Or, but as of now, we're just going to be sleeping under the moon.
All right, so you guys make it out of the cavern. The starlight shines around you. You can see boxes and railings. The railings divide into 2 different directions, but you're in a cavern dug into the ground, a gully, if you will, which was carved into the cave. The cave's still rather well built, carts loaded with different stones around you. It's a nice dry place, and with boxes, you can make a nice fort. A little bit ahead of you, because of a stench in the air, and with some exceptional dark vision, even though there is no moonlight this evening, there is a massive body of flesh that's probably 8 times larger than you are, Xander, laying on across the railing, across some boxes on the ground.
Is that inside the cave or outside?
Outside.
Okay.
You get the sense, I mean, you don't need to roll a survival to know that there's some immediate danger if you decide to go here. Now, that being said, it's also blocking your exit, possibly, unless you wanted to scale the sides of the gully that you are in. Whatever it is, from what you can tell, doesn't see you.
This is a dead creature, or this is a living creature?
How close would you like to get to find out?
I have no desire to get close to anything right now. I want to
Okay.
sleep. So whether it be in the cave entrance or wherever we need to go, I just want to sleep. I don't care what it is. If we can back up and hey guys, there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like dealing with anything right now. Can we just do you want to sneak away or just inside the cave entrance, build it up and protect ourselves from that?
I'm with you there. I'm not looking to engage with any enemies for no good reason. I think we have our mission, and part of our mission is keeping these guys safe, and that means not taking unnecessary fights. So
I say, or I third that if this thing is worth investigating and it's still dead, it'll still be dead when we get up later, and we can investigate then.
In the daylight.
In the daylight.
All right, so you guys move back into the cavern, and with no issue at all, you very quietly move some boxes to stack up and make a pretty comfortable sleeping place with whatever gear you have. I mean, the ground is rather rocky around the railing, but you find a nice cave within the cave that's easily defendable at the very least. And you set up, what's the camp look like, guys, as you set up for the night? How elaborate do you get?
Not elaborate, enough to I would say use the boxes or whatever crates we can have to just kind of, line across the cave opening, just so, we'd hear if anything kind of broke through it. And otherwise, I would say just I would kind of space ourselves out a little bit so we're not all, necessarily clumped together. Let everybody find their own little section and take a rest. Not like far apart, not like 50 yards from each other, but within like 10 feet or so. Still see you, but I want to sleep, and Soomper snores.
Understandable. Okay, so as you guys set up camp, you're able to push things out of the way. You find a nice rock that is just the right height, that though it's not soft, it makes a damn good pillow with the extra gear that you have. You're sitting around making this, and some conversation begins to happen amongst the party. Last time you were walking up to this cave exit, you started talking a little bit about the note that you found from the Grand Nassant. You're starting to piece together this might have something to do with the Paladin quest show that you and the party that was there were on to the south, looking at hot springs that are no longer hot. Then question, does Siddle and Cecil have any subterranean events recently? And then Tommy Two Tones, or Tommy Two Pieces.
Nobody knows that.
And what his role might have been. Where did he go? Go ahead and have some conversation as you guys bed down, trying to piece together all of the things in this campaign that have happened so far and see if there were any connections. Andy, Show, I know you were talking about that before. It's like an opportunity for the party to kind of discuss some of this stuff.
do we have the note from the Grand Nassant anywhere where we can look at it again? I'm looking on Roll20.
You do
I don't
indeed.
see it.
I'll pop it up. Boom, boom.
Oh, here we go. I see a Grand Nassant note. Here we go.
And you can go, if you're going to read it, go ahead and read it to the rest of the crew.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reread this one again. Recipient, I pray you are just and of good heart and intentions. If you are holding this, you may have noticed quakes and other changes of the earth. This cavern has been enchanted long ago. The lava hardened around the chamber itself, creating a shell of protection during the last magma activity. If you are reading this, that protective shell must have been cracked in some way. There is no way I, even in my vast foresight, can assume what has made this fissure. But what I can do is share a warning to you and be your compass to a remedy. Long ago, an underground river of molten core ran through these caves, used by ancient dwarf legions to fashion armaments and the most hardened of mithril steels. It was not long until a rare ore found deep within the volcano, an ore that was difficult to smelt. Even in the small quantities that existed, it seemed almost impossible to purify and shape. As this ore was harvested within the molten pools beneath the island, master smeltsmen knew that the heat of this lava river was not enough to make a refined metal from this ore, as they did with adamantine. In an attempt to increase the magma's heat, these dwarves worked with alchemists who experimented with various concoctions that were thrown into the flow haphazardly. It was beginning to work, but with this increased temperature, the gully that held the magma flow began to break away and itself melt. It seemed to take a mind of its own, pushing in all directions, unhindered by matter itself. It was then that mages such as myself came from far and wide to dispel a catastrophe. With the combination of great minds, we developed a spell never before used to manipulate the chemical and physical components of this morphed molten river. Once cast, the river turned solid and unmalleable, even by the strongest heat. It was agreed that this spell would never be learned by a single individual, as it holds the power to end life as we know it altogether. But the cost of such a creation was great and a miracle in itself. I believe there is no guarantee something of this magnitude would be developed again if such a dire circumstance would arise again. That is why I put the spell onto a scroll. If you're reading this, it may be needed once more. In order to ensure that this is not discovered by the wrong character, was hidden deep within this cave, in a special chamber. It is dangerous, which in itself validates the selflessness of those who quest to save this land. Anyone with weaker attributes would let the town above burn and crumble and find themselves at a safe distance. If you are of the latter, I would request you turn this over to a more noble and heroic audience so that this quest may be completed. You have already been blessed by reading this, and a divine reward you will find should anyone discover the secret chamber with good intent. Whichever way you shall choose to go, may you and the world around you flourish each step. Signed, Grand Nissant the Vast. Right. So, the molten lava and the shifting of the subterranean geographical features of the island, which is what we ran into before, which Xander, I don't know whether or not you definitely weren't around for this mission. I don't know whether or not it ever came up amongst us, but a while ago, and maybe even the first sort of mission I went with this crew was to find two paladins. So we were in the town of Alabast, obviously that one you're familiar with, and there used to be a temple of the Law Hammer, I believe it was called, which was sort of the religious order of the town and sort of the spiritual backbone of the city. And we were on fairly good terms with this temple, and they had assigned us a mission to go find a couple of paladins of theirs which had gone missing somewhere to the south. The paladins were sent to the south to investigate hot springs which had run cold. And so this was the first time I think we had, and at least I had encountered the sort of geological abnormalities going on the island. And when we got there, we found that the paladins had been waylaid by a series of counterfeit notes that was keeping erroneously instructing them to remain where they were encamped, whereas those who had sent them there, that is to say the Temple of the Law Hammer, they had wanted them to return. So I guess they were not apparently sending these notes telling them to stay. So we were going to rectify what its miscommunication was. We meet up with the paladins, where a bunch of traps were set around these paladins by the same assassin who we have dispatched since. Or maybe not. Maybe there was not. Anyways, forget that part. So we find the paladins. We bring them back to town. And the temple itself was razed to the ground. And that was that for the Order of the Lawhammer as we know it on the island. But they seemed to be aware of this, so maybe they ran afoul of whoever it is doing this. If indeed this is some kind of conspiracy to unleash the molten river once again underneath the island. which it seems like is going on, obviously, right? When we were down there, it seems like the molten lava is running a little bit rampant.
Yeah, and this is the first time I've heard this tale, and it obviously to me does sound reminiscent of something that Solomon would have done or had been hired to do. So perhaps those two things were tied together. Was this before the contract was placed on you all?
It's hard to say. I don't know when the contract was placed on us, but
Could your
probably
interference
after.
have been the cause of the contract?
It could have been. It could have been. But our party, which preceded my joining it, they've gained some notoriety in Alabasta already. And the fact that I don't believe that my name was on the contract,
It wasn't.
that tells me that they probably that it might have been drafted before I was a member of it by Julian, whom I had met prior to this mission, but only very much in passing. And I got the feeling that the rest of the party was definitely more knew him better. But it's hard to say where we ran afoul of him because we're not really aware of the total scope of his plans or whether or not he is indeed involved in this. It would seem like probably he seems to have his finger in all kinds of different pots on this island. So if there's some sort of grand evil scheme, I wouldn't be surprised if he was somehow tied into it. But once again, I had falsely assumed that what was her name? Not Gabriella.
Gabriella?
The villainous woman in Ironton. I assumed that she was like a no. What was her name?
That was. I can look it up because I, of course, I would remember it with no problem whatsoever. Her name would have been. It's right here. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not that. It's
Who is it you were trying to figure out?
the lady at the party.
Gloria. I assumed that she was working for Julian, but then in our conversation, it seemed like they may have just been peers or aware of one another, but both kind of involved in their own machinations.
Right, or maybe they are reporting to somebody else who is the top node.
Right.
So it's like Julian is the head over Alabasta, and she's the contact in Ironton, and they're more of equals rather than one in charge of the other.
But you know who I want to talk to about all this? Egbert and Aster. Because I know that Egbert was involved in a grand battle on this island before, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was aware this was somehow related to the molten lava flow. And I know that in that battle, he was also battling somebody that looked like me, which is the first I've heard of anybody anywhere looking like me.
Now, Egbert and Aster, those are names that are new to me.
Yeah, Egbert and Aster are also fixtures in Alabasta. And it was on their instruction that we actually ended up in Ironton at all. But which I was keeping fairly close to my chest up until now, Xander, given that I didn't know you all that well. And now that we've been in battle a few times together and you haven't just turned tail and run, or you haven't stolen all of our stuff, you've earned my trust, and I feel more comfortable talking about this. But in any case, yeah, Egbert and Aster. Soomper, could you give some background as to who they are in the town? Because I jumped on board with that after you guys already had made your introduction.
I do want to make sure that we're talking. It's like the three of us talking, or the four of us talking.
Right.
Not the other two. So the dwarves are kind of all by themselves.
I'm going to look over my shoulder for him,
and
too.
we don't have Cecil and Siddle in this conversation.
Yeah, they have gone to the other side of the railway and are in their own piece of the cavern a little deeper. You could see them kind of chuckling and admiring this large pickaxe that Cecil has in his hand, trying to identify it in some way you imagine.
So Egbert and Esther, they're kind of working together. And Egbert is a mute. We don't really know a whole lot about him, I believe. Esther, he's kind of a pillar of the community there in Alabast. And he could potentially be like a druid of sorts. And I think he's also kind of like he believes in like magic and stuff like that. I kind of forgot exactly his thing. Like our first mission was to bring Egbert actually from Shoreshack to Alabast. Shoreshack is like a small kind of beach bum kind of a town. He's old, he looks a little crippled, and he had a box, so I don't think we knew what was in the box, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe they are also wary of Julian, and they like see Julian as a big threat to, you know, all of the island. And I think they want to stop Julian.
Right.
But mainly for them to
Alabast
in particular.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh yeah, to Alabast in particular, but also, I guess it's a good question. I don't know how far the Merchant Guild extends, but
I mean, with no road to connect Ironton to Alabast, it would seem like their trade route would be mainly just Alabast.
Right. I think it is a, sort of an Alabastian concern. I did bring up whether I did ask, I think, Elamar, whether or not the same sort of tariffs were imposed here in Ironton, and he said no, that's a different situation. They don't have the dragon terrorizing the magical ships and so on and so forth. But that is the issue in Alabast, and basically because of this relatively new security hazard to incoming merchant ships, particularly with magical items, Julian has taken on a disproportionate level of authority in the town. He's sort of running a protection racket for all the merchants, and I guess he's monopolizing the distribution of magical items, possibly, or maybe
now,
not.
On a side note, is that known to everybody that magical items you cannot traverse on a ship down to Alabast?
I believe so. At least it didn't seem like it was a great secret when I learned about it. I think that's a pretty open, because these taxes and tariffs that he imposes they're well known. You know, he has people who run afoul of them are imprisoned. He has a debtor's prison that I was going to investigate at one point, but which I got sidetracked. Might still be a guy in prison there who's waiting for me to spring him or something. I feel sorry, buddy. But in any case, that was one of the many. Yeah.
So if somebody from here had a magic item and got on a ship and sailed to Alabast, there, as long as they didn't take that weapon off the ship, if the ship got there?
My understanding is that they would attract the attention of whatever it is this giant fiend is by having the magic item on the ship.
Isn't that more of their goal, is to wreck the ships and take the loot?
That's like what the dragon's doing, and so yeah, he may be connected to Julian in some way because he's trying to take.
So I'm asking, do you think the sailors of the area know about that, and that's why the ships are being attacked?
I'm sure they do. I mean, I guess we never explicitly asked, but I think it's pretty well known throughout the island that that's happening.
You get the sense, talking around to people, not to mention Soomper, that's how you ended up on the island.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you saw your captain there with some prized magical items as the dragon turtle crunched your ship into two, or the dirtle, sinking you. You also, in remnants of this, do remember there was one ship that seemed to be quick enough to make it by and back into port.
So it is possible to outrun the turtle.
I mean, yeah, I suppose it'd be possible, but big risk, right?
It would be risky. So, on another side note, and just so I can be 90% transparent, perhaps, maybe, what Siddle and Cecil are looking for may be on me, may not. I cannot tell for sure, but I do want to avoid them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I assumed that. I assumed that was the case. I don't know whether or not you caught that conversation in any piece before, but I was feigning ignorance. I was covering for you. I'm aware of the fact that you almost definitely have taken what it is that they're looking for, but I just don't see why. I ain't no snitch. And I still don't like these guys coming in and not telling me that for like a long time. It just freaks me out. Like, ooh. So they really rubbed me the wrong way. And also we're kind of in this thing together right now. So yeah, I've got your back. But also they mentioned like 500,000 platinum, some absurd amount of money, and an incredible ship that may or may not be outfitted to either to deal with this. I'm not saying I'm thinking about turning you in, but I'm saying I'm thinking about that. I don't know how we get that, but maybe there's some way that we can finagle that.
I think the only way to get that is for me to give up Sonia, and that
Not necessarily. We just have to find the person who has that and get it from them. But that's sort of neither here nor there, really, I guess. I would like to have money in a ship, but I'm definitely more interested in interesting magical items.
So my main concern at this point is I need to get these two off my case, and yet not have them continually to track my case. So I need to convince them that I'm not the one and to move along.
Well, what you need to do is find some other instrument to switch out for the one that you are hiding, and have them identify that. In the course of our conversation, that was what they seemed to need as proof to find that you were innocent.
My instrument is the flute and not the lute.
Correct, but they still suspect that there's some sort of trick you're pulling with it.
Well, of course.
And they intend to have your instrument appraised by someone that they trust. So if you could, instead of disguising your instrument as a flute, procure some kind of a flute.
I actually have a flute.
Now, whether or not you can play that flute with the technique, I don't know whether or not they've heard the way that you play the lute, but obviously that would be hard to replicate with a less magical flute.
It would very much be difficult without. Yes.
However, we're both seem to be gifted deceivers, I think, and we also have more than a few tricks underneath our belt in order to maybe throw sound or distract or disguise. So that seems like something that would be possible.
Just then you hear Cecil go, "Ah! Oh, I love this thing!" And he hits it onto a rock, and the rock just shatters. Startled you for a second, but you don't have his attention.
So yeah, Siddle's the one we probably have to trick. Cecil might have forgotten why he's here already.
Perhaps. My thought was that if we could get them to go to Alabasta to find the bar down there that I think has what they're looking for, and they can take that pickaxe with them, then perhaps the turtle would do the damage for us.
That's true.
That would be that.
That would be that with them. That would be one way of dealing with them. But I don't know where this appraiser is, but my guess is that that's what they have in their minds. So you'd have to find a way of dissuading them from that. And if that person is an Ironton, which I suspect that they are, then that's going to be a hurdle that we have to clear before sending them anywhere on any kind of a boat.
And we definitely both of us, and maybe all three of us, need to go check in with the mages tower. We were told we had to do that. We have to register ourselves as deadly weapons.
Yes. Well, once again, all this is all concerns, but secondary concerns to me to the primary, which is
We need our audience. With
our mission, our audience with the king, and by extension, that is to say, myself and Soomper and the rest of the Boar Boys core group, and maybe yourself, but I'm sure that you seem to have your own concerns in mind. Our mission with the resistance, of which Egbert and
Aster.
Aster. I can never remember that guy's name for some reason. Aster and Egbert are apparently members.
Well, even though I do not know them and I am not fully aware of your mission, I am by all means along to help you as long as you'll have me. Because it seems to me that there is safety in numbers, and numbers is what I need.
I think at the core of this whole mission, there is a whole trove of incredible magical gems and items, I suspect being hoarded away by Julian for some nefarious, power-hungry reasons. And I intend to gorge myself on all of that incredible magical stuff. That sounds like a blast. But I'm also very curious about Egbert's past and about my own history.
There's always the chance that whoever good and sending you on these missions is actually trying to just obtain it for themselves as well.
Guys, sorry, I need to go run and grab my food just arrived. I'll be right back.
That's possible, but I don't think that's a very likely suspicion. But
I mean,
that's
they're not
based on my own
someone I know.
experience.
I wasn't there for the conversation, just playing demon's advocate.
Mm-hmm. Considering all the possibilities is good strategy, but morality, the good guys and the bad guys. It's a fluid thing. It can change. It can evolve over time. But I do believe that at least at one point, Egbert was fighting for some kind of a noble cause, but maybe not. In any case, our current mission remains the same. And I think that if we can get the king and Elamar, or the king to listen to Elamar, and if we can dig into what's going on with Gloria, then we might find out more about. I think Soomper is right in his suspicion that, or perhaps you said that, I don't know, that Gloria and Julian may be reporting to the same authority. And if we can kind of figure out what's going on higher up, and that we can somehow, I don't know, if the king could press her for information somehow, or otherwise it could investigate her actions, and in doing so maybe hire us to do so, and we could find some more leads. But I suspect that more information would definitely be discoverable in the mountains, where your beloved and hard to get woman is looking to build a road. Naively for her, Gabriella, that's right. Gabriella is building a road for her father, right to, I suspect, a secretive and treasure-ridden place. And I would like to get there. That's something I would definitely like to get to.
The western side of the island is key to everything. And it is uncharted land for a majority of, I would say 99% of this island has never gone there. But something is there. So.
As for this note in more specifics, we got this spell. Is the spell on this scroll, or do we think the spell is on a different scroll in somewhere in these caverns that we are on our way out of? It seems to imply that this scroll is useful, but it's not explicit.
Well, it said to give that scroll to someone who was worthy of it.
It says, that is why I put this spell onto a scroll. If you are reading this, it may be needed once more. I don't know that this note is the scroll to which it refers.
But we do have to go to the Mage's Tower anyway, so perhaps this would be something that we should pass on to
Agreed.
the High Mage there, which we have his name, and it's of course it's here. But
I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah, to the mage, and perhaps to the king too. I mean, if this king, knows who he is and where he's from, which I suspect he has a greater sense of history than I do, who literally just popped out of a deck of cards here like a week ago, he should be able to. He should know what this is about, and perhaps be able to appreciate the gravity of this, and perhaps be able to appreciate us for bringing the gravity. Pablo. Okay.
Pablo. We need to take it to Pablo. That's who we need to take it to.
Point of note.
Noted point.
If you do remember, you were standing on top of Cecil's back, throwing things at something on the ceiling. That thing on the ceiling was a scroll that was unreadable by you.
That's not this note. That's a separate thing. Thank you for reminding me of that. But
It's
I do
been a
have
long
that
day
scroll.
in these caverns. You've been up for almost 20 hours.
I'm exhausted. Oh, that's right. The scroll is in my pocket. That's where I left it. It's unreadable.
What's
it has
in
some
my
sort of
pocket, please?
ancient ruins. Okay. Sheesh. So we got the goods here. We're rolling in with the scroll, with the note about the scroll. We got way more than a fixed sewage problem.
We might have the problem to solve all of Ironton's problems. We could really be heroes.
We're like the ultimate plumbers. We're going to come rolling out of the sewer like, let me tell you what I found, man. It's going to be a lot steeper than you thought.
If there was only a few heroes who used to be plumbers.
What's me? Xander.
I was literally just going to say Mario.
Well, gentlemen, I am tired. And as much as I enjoy our conversation, I'm going to try to get a little bit of rest.
Soomper, do you need a long rest?
I would like to long rest.
You'd like to long rest? Okay. I have this potion that makes a short rest a long rest, and I only need a short rest, but so long as two of us need long rests, we'll just save that potion for another time.
So Xander's going to move off by himself. He's not going to immediately fall asleep, but he is going to lay down and, we did some talking about Solomon, and he's got Solomon back on his head again. And he's like, that was a conniving, sneaky son of a gun. And if I could do half the stuff that he could do, perhaps part of my problems would go away. And he takes out his book, and he just starts to just think and scribble in his book about some of the different things that he'd seen Solomon do, and just trying to put it together in his own language, in his own runes, and just trying to figure it all out before he just gets tired and falls asleep.
As your head kind of repeating these runes, you close your eyes, you're awake. And at some point you fall asleep, but it's not this instant moment. It's kind of a blur between that and what in hindsight must be a dream state, you imagine. You keep replaying, seeing this creature in the treetops, recalling your friend Grukterv bleeding out from all of the orifices, his wrists, his ankles, his neck, tied to a tree. You think of the carnage that you went through with seeing his dog butchered by these wolves and knowing that it was all orchestrated by Solomon. You have this need for even more revenge, but you've already killed him. But that fascination just keeps driving you deeper and deeper into thinking about the things that he did, how he could vanish, the glowing blue eyes behind this mask that he was able to put on. Torching trees, Soomper coming up and lightning striking, destroying this forest to finally capture this slick-ass son of a bitch. Thinking he's just some batty assassin was one thing, but the party plays in your mind again. How manipulative he was. How he was able to jump from one place to another, both physically, but seems politically as well. He was caught up in some deep shit. That replays over and over and over in your mind as you sleep. Eventually, your mind finding some rest and strength, thinking about your wolf and your instrument. And the one thing that you haven't been able to get yet, that's Gabriella. The rest of you all are able to find some comfort. Soomper, you're sleeping and normally you roll quite a bit. As you try to roll left, it seems to almost harder now than it's ever been. You seem discomfort and you're pulling, and it seems like something's kind of pulling you down. But you eventually fall asleep. Annoying? Yes. But Soomper, you are dedicated. You all kind of get startled as you hear a quack. Your eyes kind of open and you realize it's daylight out. Sho, you have been potentially up for almost 3 hours now. If you would have liked to only take a short rest, I'll leave that up to you.
I'll have taken a long rest.
Okay. So the squawk startles even you. Red Cloud, though, with his large vat of rum next to him, doesn't seem to budge. Xander, you and Sho, anything you do in the morning?
Well, Xander will initially roll out, and of course, he didn't sleep on top of his favorite instrument, but instead he will use his prestidigitation to color it once again to a nice green instead of red, just in case it peeks out from underneath his cloak. And you will merely get up and say, "Gentlemen, I believe an 8-mile trek is in order."
You look over at the party and you notice Soomper has his eyes wide open, but his face almost stiff. His eyes are glazed over. Completely gray.
Soomper, wake up.
You go to shake him, and you notice there's something attaching him in a way to the ground. And as you push, an aura of green begins to shine from them, as he looks though his mind is almost in another plane of existence.
Soomper. Show.
Soomper, you hear that voice saying, Soomper. And your mind's trapped in a way. But it's a familiar voice, not one of Xander, one of Sir Cerrone.
I'm going to reach down and grab the ring on his toe and pull it off.
Give me a strength check.
Come on, you son of a gun. 10.
You tug on his foot, but his foot doesn't lift up, and you notice the entire bottom of his feet has grown roots and is plunged into the ground around him. You roll his leg up, and you notice roots are grown through his pants and have attached him to the ground.
Show. He's out of it, man. Do you want to give it a shot? I can't hear you. It's like you're far away.
Yeah. I want to give it a shot. If he's not responding, I'm going to try and pull that stinker off his foot. I'm going to give it all I got.
He's potentially being attacked by plants. You guys are like, the ring.
My
All right, give it a roll.
Oh, I am not even shitting you, dude.
Nat 20?
Nat 20 on my first roll. I love this dice.
Roll damage. Roll a D.
Do you have a plus to your strength?
I don't have a strength modifier.
I don't either.
A D what, Mike?
Roll me a D6.
All right. That's a 6, dude. Woo. I hope that's not Soomper.
His toe was already broken.
Soomper? Roll me a nature check.
I roll the nature check.
Yes, please.
20 total. 16 plus 1.
As you're pulling, you hear his toe. As roots start to try to bind his toe back, you're almost pulling the toe itself off. This ring just won't give it, but you have an absurd strength, and you're pulling. Would you continue, Show?
Yeah.
You've almost got it.
The skin on his toe start to pull back as you hear as the bone dislocates from his foot. But he remains asleep. You can tell that you can take his toe now, but it's going to, or you can take the ring, but it's going to cost him the toe, which is now broken and dislocated.
Man, we can fix the toe. We can figure something out, I think. I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity like this with this toe ring anytime soon.
Xander cuts his toe off.
Sorry, Soomper. I'm going for it. I'm going to try to remove the toe and the ring. I'm sort of convinced that this evil that's going on has to do with the ring until you said a plant is attacking him, but I guess I wouldn't have heard that as Show, so I'm still just going to send it. And I also think it's going to be for the best. I think we can fix his toe and his foot, but I don't think this ring is doing any good.
All right, Show, give me some imagery. How do you do it?
Hold it up. I'll cut it off.
I think I'm just yanking it off, dude. I think that I just got this incredible rush of energy, and Soomper is just catatonic and turning into a plant. And it's a very subtle moment, but all the moments of that ring not coming off, and of all the goofiness that is incurred because of that, and Soomper almost beating up the whole party for it. There's just this one look of just manic insanity rushes over Show's face as he decides, he's just and then just rip. Maybe there's an I'm sorry Soomper in there somewhere, but he just
as you're about to pull, you can see the flesh itself start to snap and fray. Soomper, we're going to jump into your perspective. As you kept hearing your name over and over, Ceroni's voice, you hear, "Do not forget the story I told you. Do not forget the story I told you, told you."
He's like, fuck, I do not remember the story at all.
all of those stupid memories that you had as a young boy, planting seeds next to fire pits, attempting to grow some fire plant that you heard much lore about. So stupid it seemed in your adolescence, but suddenly, now that you've acquired this fire plant that he spoke of, it seems that Ceroni's tales weren't all as tall as he once wrote them off to be. You start searching your mind for more Ceroni stories. It seems to be your mission. Everything else seems dulled. Though there's a faint tug at your toe. But the entire stories don't seem to come back to your mind immediately. Just bits and pieces, flavors, or topics. There's somewhere in your mind you're sure. But since you never took them so seriously in your adulthood, there's been many years, a few decades, and no doubt they're buried memories. You keep coming back. Did you forget the story he was referring to? Which story was it? There's no way that this little flower was the story he left me with.
Right. I remember that story, but yeah. Okay.
As you search the stories in your mind, you're greeted by a talking toad.
Oh.
Who hops down in front of you.
Hey, Mr. Toad.
In your mind as well. He goes, "Ribbit, ribbit," and begins to slowly hop away.
I follow him. Be like, wait! It's a good friend. I'm a friend.
And as you begin to run somewhat frantically, the toad is just slowly hopping, though it seems he's traveling vast distances. You can't catch up to him, though you're keeping distance. And as you're focused on him, thinking, what is it that you're thinking, I guess?
I'm just thinking, like, I wonder, like, this must be one of the, like, another druidic vision. Like, I need to find out where this toad is going. I feel like it's important to me. It's important.
As you're watching the toad, suddenly you see the ridges on his head start to grow up, slowly melding, the front legs growing forward, taller, into an odd shape, eventually morphing into the shape of a large deer.
Oh.
Staggering horns begin to protrude from its head, staggering, but branched into a vine-like pattern against a purple sky that has begun to envelop all of the horizon around you.
Well, Soomper's like, this is beautiful.
The head of the strange beast turns around and says, "We in this world often, we are the flower in this world that everyone must be looking for. But every flower is of a plant, and they have roots. Focus on these roots. Focus on these roots. Focus on these roots." An echo begins to come around to you. You repeat this in your mind again. We in this world, we're often the flower, or we're often looking for the flower, thinking that we are the flower that everybody must be looking for. But every flower is just a small part of a plant. And every flower is of a plant, and a plant has roots. Focus on these roots. What does that mean? You look up and he begins to walk away, and you attempt to follow, but you feel that you're stuck. You try again to lift your feet, before you lose pace with a strange guardian. Looking down, though, your feet seem to have grown roots into the ground, holding you in place. A voice kind of comes around you, but not from the creature per se. Because as you look up, he's gone. You were but a mobile seed, Soomper, unconnected and unaware. But a seed is not growing, not until it hits fertile ground. And then you realize this is coming from behind you. And the deer is now standing just feet behind you. Soomper, you have found fertile ground. And your first roots have begun to take hold.
Hey.
You are in search for a seed here in this land.
It's true.
But I ask you, can a seed in its state produce a seed?
Am I supposed to make the seed myself? Soomper says to himself and to the deer.
In another way, if you are just a seed, there's no way you could produce a seed. But now that your roots are starting to grow, there is hope. As I said, it is not a seed that makes a seed, but instead a plant that has grown, flourished, and blossomed that would produce the seed of a better future. And at that moment, you wake up to a startling pain in your toe as you feel your toe begin to just, you open your eyes, the roots pull back into you, and you look at Shotitatu on your toe, and there in his hand, he pulls it. You have an ungodly pain in your foot as you see your toe leave your foot in his hand, and you can feel the fainting feeling of losing a massive amount of blood as blood squirts up.
Xander, we need you to heal us. Shut his toe blood.
Give me the toe.
What? Fix his foot. What are you talking about? Give me the toe.
Give me the toe.
Can I take the ring off of the toe?
Yes.
I'm taking the ring off the toe and giving him the toe.
And I'll put it back on his foot, and I'll cast Cure Light Wounds at 3rd level.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
All right,
Well, there would be like, the whole time.
Yeah, well, give us some. So, what is Soomper saying in this whole thing?
Well, like, he wakes up to it, but he realizes, like, what toe it is and whatnot. So but he's just kind of screaming in pain, like, you sons of bitches! Like, thank you, but what the hell? Let us Soomper know. He's just kind of, like, freaking out a little bit.
I love how you lose your toe and you're like, thank you.
Well, because he knows, like, what they're doing for him.
All right, so I put it, and I make sure that the toenail is up and it's not upside down. So I actually put it on the right way.
Yep.
Hold my hand over it and just go shh. And I concentrate for just a second, and I cast Cure Light Wounds 3rd level just to make it all completely better. 22 points of healing back to Soomper's foot.
This is that should be 2d8, I believe.
Mm-mm.
2nd level. Okay.
Third level.
Okay. You rolled all 8s?
No, an 8, 2, a 7, and a +5.
Oh, nice work. The toe seems to grab on to itself, and it looks good. In a few moments, you know that there's an surmountable amount of swelling in the toe. It's somewhat black, but It is attached. He is at full health, if you will, but just with a weirdly attached toe at this point. You feel like you might need some medical help.
And while he's still laying there, Xander will reach down and say, I'm really sorry, Soomper, but it was an opportunity we couldn't pass up. But you're free.
Soompa is like kind of taken aback, and he's just kind of like, gosh, like I don't even remember what it was like living without this ring.
Well, let's see. Let's see if it's really gone. Give me some gold.
So Soompa reaches into his pocket and says, I don't really want to give you any gold, though. No, I'm just kidding. And he brings out like a gold coin, and he attempts to flick it to Xander. Am I able to do so? I don't know.
Yeah, you're able to do so.
Oh, wow. And like as it flicks to the air, he's like, wow.
Now, any other effects of your ring are no longer effects. So go ahead and take those off your character or unsubscribe to the ring. I think there's an attunement slot or something. Unattuned to the ring. And congratulations. You guys have taken the ring off.
Show, can I see the ring, please?
I don't trust anybody with this ring anymore. You have no idea how many times I tried to pull this off.
No. Not for me. But I think Cecil or Siddle would benefit greatly from this ring. Especially Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil becomes money crazy.
And
Maybe
he's
there's-
second in charge of that ship. And he's much bigger. And way less smart.
Okay.
You actually don't get the sense that he's incredibly dumb. Though definitely not
Anyone with the name Cecil.
the talker.
Well, maybe we should find out like what it is, because we never really identified it.
Oh no, I did.
Oh, what is it?
You mean like what's the actual description of it?
Yeah, like we don't really know much other than like, it makes you you can't give up any gold, and it gives you powers the more gold you get. By the way, next round of drinks is definitely on me. So,
Well, I'd say you have like 600 gold on you. You're buying like everything from here on out.
well, I mean, we'll see. But that's fair.
Also, go ahead and take your movement speed and decrease it by 10 there, Soomper.
Oh, I actually never increased it technically. I'm still at 25 feet.
Yeah, decrease that by 10, whatever your normal one is.
Oh shit. Okay.
Your toe is not quite. Oh, you can decrease it by 5. It's just a toe. But let's see. You're 25 feet. If you're running in 7 seconds, are you going to be able to run full speed? No. Decrease it by 10. I'm thinking 15 feet with a broken toe is still pretty fast.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think I switched it. Yep, I got it.
This was a ring of. I'm trying to skim back through my messages, Mike, but you can.
Oh, it's a ring of greed. It's brilliant gold engravings with images of a dwarf holding a large red gem to the sky. These images are of an impeccable detail for their size. All right. Well, it is morning now, gentlemen. You see that Cecil and Siddle are no longer in the cavern. The engineers are all a little deeper into the cavern than you are, with the pikemen and bowmen.
Okay.
They seem to have all their gear more or less put together and be ready in probably about 5 to 10 minutes.
All right. We'll give them a holler and go, hey, guys, are you about ready to go?
Yeah. Can Soomper, he's gonna ask the diggers or whatever, the engineers. He's like, where did Cecil and Sybil go? Do you know?
And then they say, oh, I think I saw him wake up not too long after I got up. They packed up quickly and walked out the front.
Oh, all right. Well, there's that, I guess. Did they say where they were going?
No, they don't really talk to me.
Okay. Well, that's another mystery for another time, I guess.
Yes, I am intensely curious why they're not talking to us engineering folk.
Well, 1, 2, and T, let's pack up our stuff. And Bowie, Pikey, your names astound me at their originality, but we're going to need to get going. We have about an 8-mile hike, and that should take us fairly flat, or are we on hills, or?
Yes. It's sort of a downhill, if you will.
And
then you just hear-
sounds great to me.
You hear, ready, 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 ready. And they're all packed up and ready to go.
Can we take a quick time out soon?
Yeah.
I've got a couple different things I got to take care of here before I keep going. Thank you.
Yeah, let's end it with this. As you guys leave the cavern, you notice the back of Cecil and Siddle prone behind a number of boxes right at the cavern entrance. They seem startled in some way or looking at something. You look at the much clearer perspective of the carcass that seems to be up front. You're unable to tell whether or not it's breathing. And that's where we'll leave you for now.
All right, so
Right.
that is where we're at.
I'll be right back.
Oh, wow. Look at that thing. Ugh.
Oh, poor puppy.
All right, now to our sponsors.
Which is going to be this picture right here. Oh, this picture.
See, we gotta get your comic stuff, man. You gotta have some ads for that.
Yeah, I just got to remember to make some.
Yeah. Oh, and we might have to increase the production value of our stream, and or players and DM content in order to make it not a bad PR hit. But
Yeah, we may actually get a viewer one day.
my God. All right, I'll be right back.
So.
boom, boom. Oh, John, also remember, even though you did level up,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get any HP from doing so. Like, you add HP to your total, but you stay at your original health because of your disease.
My disability.
Yeah. Though I think you're pretty high up there on health anyway, right?
I was 30, 34, 35.
Yeah, so whatever you were, just make sure you're still 34, 35, even though your total goes up.
Okay.
Do.
All right. Already blasted a third level spell. Blast it. I know it's still black. Okay. So they're just laying down behind boxes. So they're alive. They're just looking.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Man, I want my save DC to be higher.
Now, of course, as you guys make it out of the cave, it seems that Red Cloud is still passed out. So you are in tow of his unconscious body.
No, the toe's back on. He'll be so happy that it's off. All right, so Show, we'll just say you pocketed the ring or put it around your neck or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the ring visible? Show, where do you put it?
Jeez. I don't even really think about what shows I got on anymore, but I got a shield on my back. I've got like my things in a pack, probably. But the ring he just got, so he's just gonna probably put it into like a front facing pocket, breast pocket, little, you know, we'll try wherever he's got a pocket up front anywhere. Get tossed in there. Maybe he's gonna throw it in. I think it's too on the nose. Throw it in with all my gold. No, I'll just pocket it somewhere, just like immediately. He's probably not think. I didn't think too much about it.
Okay. Yeah, let's say you've got a breast pocket. You put it right in there. Let me grab my coffee and I'll be right back.
Soomper.
Hey, what's going on?
Limpy.
All right.
Now.
So you all arrive to the mouth of this cave further north on the map there. And you notice Red Cloud is not with you. How is it that you are transporting Red Cloud's passed out body? He is still breathing. You have checked. He is just about 200 pounds of gear and body.
Shit.
I would have maybe asked some of the engineers to carry him. Be like, this is also part of your mission.
Maybe suggest that they make like a gurney of type of sorts. Like
There we
they
go.
get 2 branches and like, you know.
I mean, there's
Engineering.
5 dwarfs. They can carry a single dwarf.
That's true. However they feel is the best way. The engineers, they could create something if they...
Okay, so they find some way to fashion their picks and things to have a hammock of sorts that they are carrying him with. And they say, don't worry, we do this every Friday and Saturday night. And then Juan and T are like, you two, we got you like this last week. And then they all laugh like hardy dwarves.
All right, so we're coming out of the cave entrance. Can we see Cecil and Siddle hunkered down, hiding, peering and gazing at this carcass? And I'll ask the dwarves, is that the direction we need to go? Or can we peel off to the right?
Right's a dead end,
Well, that's not the way we need to go then, is it?
which is not. What do you think that is? It is tough for me to see with such low perception skill from here.
Well,
Check it out.
let me see if I can check it out. I will.
Cecil turns back and has you guys. He gives you the signal to kind of stay down. And asks you to come over, Xander. As he sees you're getting ready to do something.
I hate this guy. Yeah, what is it?
As you go and crouch next to them by the car, like, you've been watching it for about an hour now. I'm pretty sure it's dead, but it moves every once in a while. Very peculiar-like.
Oh.
Not entirely sure what that means.
Hey, Show. Remember the snail?
I remember the snail. You think it's got some shit eating it from the inside out?
I think it's the same thing. I think we've got some posts on the inside that are carving this thing up.
That's smart. I agree. That's the most likely culprit after all. Well, should I blast it? Should I give it a blast from afar? See if anything comes scurrying out?
Do you want to do the same thing we did last time? Which, I mean, we could shatter it.
That's true, but we're not entirely sure yet. And this might be a creature in need of some kind of help. Perhaps it would be beneficial for us if we did help it, if it was still alive. I want to ensure that it's still alive before we start blasting it.
Well,
Siddle says, I'm pretty good with a rope. We could just try to get out of here, but I don't know about the other guys we have with us.
What other guys?
It's precarious cliff. And when you have this many people climbing a rope, somebody's bound to fall.
I'm not interested in sacrificing anybody on the team. I would sooner stand and fight. I don't know how you guys feel.
let me see if I can get a better look. See if I can tell what this thing is.
All right, but before you do anything, we should gather a better position tactically. We're kind of cornered if some shit goes wrong. So don't do anything too fast.
We're at a cave entrance. You have a retreatable point, which is thus a bottleneck for anything that comes in after you. So you're not in a bad position. Whoever goes to investigate, they would be in a bad position. I mean, unless you want to spread out, and then by all means, spread out.
Sounds fine by me. Just give me a heads up before you do something, Tom. Like play a song.
Oh, I do so love you. And I'm going to begin to make my way over to Peter.
All right. Go ahead and move your guy. And you... roll me a stealth check.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. You a stealth check. That's what I wanted to. 14.
Okay. As you're moving, you make some pretty quiet steps, but you look up and the carcass kind of moves, kind of being, it seems being pulled down in some way, just as you kick a rock and you freeze for a moment. The carcass stops moving. And then you very quickly get behind the carts where you are now. You can't see a whole bunch because the rocks and the boxes and the carts are in the way, but you do get a sense there's water on the other side of the body. Stained a weird color. You're not really sure if it's from the leaching blood of the carcass itself or what. The water seems to extend. It feels bigger than what you can see. That is your path. The carcass has also got a very big hole that you're starting to see on its side, which is kind of extended to the air. You can see where the body would normally be round, it's kind of caved in, sunken into where the rib cage would be.
Can I tell what kind of animal it is?
It is a very, very large, armored in the sense of having very natural skin, much like a rhinoceros, but has like 7 or 8 horns coming off of its face. Huge, massive hoof-like things. You've heard that they travel in packs from a story of. Give me 1 second.
Are these similar to like the rhino things that we saw when we were traveling?
They are exactly that. Yeah, Xander, you actually heard of stories of these as being escaped creatures from Rollo's ship. Rollo runs kind of an exotic animal business. And in your time in Alabasta, you heard of some of his creatures getting lost about 50 years ago. They have kind of become a nuisance in this town. From the description, it looks very similar to one of those, but you're not sure.
50 years past?
50 years passed.
That's a long time. Well, I will go back and report to them what I have seen with gentlemen. It's a dead rhinoceros type creature. There does appear to be something feeding on the inside of it. It cannot still be alive. And if it was, and it was there last night, this is much too powerful of a creature to just lay there for that long. It is dead and something is feeding on it.
All right.
I ask you, Sissel and Seedle, what would you like to do?
Well, I'm sure the hide's worth a little bit of money.
Well,
I was looking for trade. I wouldn't mind a fight if I could promise some of the hide. Without that, I don't think it'd really be worth our while.
Mm-hmm.
I have no use for the hide. Do you? Joe? Soomper?
No use for the hide here. I mean, we have to go through around this, though, so.
Well, I mean, I could blast it out of the way with a tidal wave.
I'm not averse to that. Well, we find some higher ground, and then you can raise that water out of there or something?
No, like I could like conjure a tidal wave and I'll blast it out of the way.
Oh, fantastic. I would love to see that.
There is water on the other side of it. If you wanted to push it into the water.
Right. Yeah. I think I'll try to do that.
Now, if there is something inside of it, perhaps that might piece it off a little bit. But
So there is a critical role rule that says you can't really tidal wave with no water around. I'm not sure if we want to do that or not. What are you guys' thoughts? We can go either way, honestly.
it would seem that you would have to have water to make it tidal wave.
Right. Like I can't just make. I feel like that would be like 2 spells, like me to.
That would be like
water
water
and
and shoot it. So if we were going this way, yes. Because you could use that water to tidal wave that way. But they're coming this way.
Okay, so we'll use that from kind of now on. It's like you can make a tidal wave with a body of water, but you can't just because I'm just trying to picture it. Like, where would it come out of? Like, it could come out of your hands if you wanted to do that or something. But
Right. I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
all right, you'll have a body of water that you'll need in order to make a tidal wave.
Okay.
And there is a body of water.
But it would push it the wrong way. Well,
Blast it into the cave.
Just then, you see the body, the rear end of the body, the leg kind of like looks like it twitches up and then falls down, and the body rotates a bit.
What? All right, Soomper is going to let his curiosity get the best of him, and he's going to get close to the creature and see, like, check its vitals, basically, closer. And like you said, there's that wound in its chest, and if the creature doesn't, like, react to him, he'll, like, kind of inspect the wound to see if he could glean what created the wound.
Okay, so you going up to it?
Yeah.
All right. This takes you
I'll
several
follow
turns.
behind him. I'm not going to be right up on him, but I'll be right behind him.
Okay, give me a stealth check there, Soomper. And you're hobbling.
Ooh, natural 20, baby.
Nice work. Siddle goes ahead and moves up as well. Cecil is staying by the cart here as you guys start moving. Show, is there anything anywhere you'd like to go or instruct any of your other friendlies?
Yeah, I would like to try to get higher ground and urge people to do so as well. So whoever's not at higher ground, maybe climb up over to the left of the doorway or something like that, maybe near these guys.
Where are you going, Soomper? I'm going to follow behind you.
I will go.
All right, in the moment, and just go ahead and ping it, and I'll let you know how it goes when you try to go there.
Well, yeah, I guess I would kind of want to go here because that's where the wound is, right? Like on that's the wound, I'm assuming.
From what you can see, it's the center. Of
Right.
the spot.
So yeah, I'll kind of circle around his head, I guess. Like go right here.
Okay. Yeah, as you start moving up, you get about halfway there, and the body starts to move again. You shudder a little bit. You freeze in place. This is a creature that's something like almost 20 feet long, right? And you're only 3 feet tall. It moves again, kind of pulling a little bit away from you. You stop. You want to keep going?
I do, and I'll be like, shh, it's okay.
Does it look like it's moving on its own?
It does not. But you do hear chewing as you get closer.
I hear chewing. Okay. Shit. I'll be like, guys, move away from the cave entrance in case they need to blast this into the cave.
All right.
And I'll point
you
over.
want to say that loudly, or do you want to run back and say that?
I'll run back and say that. And I'll be like, guys, go over here. And like when I go back and tell them, I'll say go over here, just in case.
All right, I'd like to move then out of the way as well,
Okay.
or to where he gestured.
Now, how would you like I'm assuming you would want to move the engineers and Red Cloud
Right.
out of the cave?
Right, yeah. I'm like talking to everybody. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Okay.
Over into here.
They begin moving and kicking rocks. One of them runs into a box.
you ding nuts.
With a 4, a natural 1, and a 10.
Oh, Jesus.
One of them who's carrying Red Cloud trips and falls. Luckily, there's 3 of them, so Red Cloud doesn't fall. But he hits his knee right on the railing and just goes, ow! And then just as he does, the body begins to start moving a little bit. You hear some splashing in the water behind it. And then things quiet down a bit more. The engineers reestablish themselves and pull themselves probably behind these boxes here, if that's adequate enough.
Yeah.
Cecil moves to the right-hand side and gives you a thumbs up with a kind of a questioning face. Soomper.
And I give him a thumbs up with like a.
And he goes.
I give him a couple of finger points, and then I make my way. And I'm gonna walk around here. I'm gonna like be right here so I could kind of like maybe like more like there, so I could kind of look around and see what I'm assuming is eating.
Yeah.
The creature.
You walk around the face and you can see the nostrils of this creature are bigger than your head. You could almost crawl into its nose. Like that's the massiveness of this creature. You look around and you see a gaping hole with torn open flesh on its stomach, its entrails kind of hanging out. It's been dead for a little bit. This is not a freshly dying animal by any means. Probably for about 3 days old now. You can see maggots and things growing on it.
Yeah.
No sign of what's doing anything. Give me a perception check.
Right. Damn, man, I am rolling hat today. And of course, I will no longer do so once I announce
So
it.
go ahead and move your character as well.
16 plus 4, so 20 total. Not net, though. So
Yeah, you're looking around, trying to listen as you walk, trying not to give yourself away. The gaseous smell is a little distracting, but you tiptoe a little bit more forward, a little more forward. Visually, you don't see anything in the open carcass where you are. How close do you want to get to the hole inside this creature? The hole is rather deep and it's a little dark. The sun's on the other side of it, so it's tough to see through all the way in depth at this angle.
Right.
So
I will get
there's no notion of anything living inside of it.
right. I will get like pretty much right at it, making sure I'm not like stepping on it or whatever. And I'll have I'm like ready to shoot my tidal wave spell, like at a moment's notice, basically.
Okay. As you start moving forward, you're able to go through. You lift your left leg and right leg over the carcass leg, which is almost like a jump hop you have to make. And as you hop, you land. You're happy that you made it. You look up into this gaping hole, and it's just hot air coming out of it. And it's empty.
I give a hello in there.
Just as you say it, you hear the water behind you. Something comes out and grabs at your legs. Give me a dexterity check at disadvantage, Mr. Broken Toe Man.
Okay, so there's that one. Oh, I rolled both with 14. Deception, dexterity.
Dexterity save with disadvantage.
Yeah, so 17 total. I rolled 2 14s.
All right. Well, gentlemen, it's time to roll initiative.
Damn, dude, I am rolling hot. 20 total.
5 initiative.
13. Hello in there? Really?
Hello.
Oh, that's
Much better.
different.
I swear I just...
Oh, Mike, did I level up?
You did.
Yay! All right, so I need
Your roots have started to grow into fertile soil, my friend.
So Thumpton took a swipe at you, huh?
And I sway up. Is it still? Oh, okay. All right, let's see if his attack beats you. You got a 21 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Beats your dex save, good sir, and your armor class. It does 7 points of piercing damage as you look down and you see a massive head nip just at your Achilles heel and Achilles tendon and sink its teeth into you.
Ah.
Looking back, it has a long neck, very lizard-like, extending underneath the water there. All right, what was initiative?
Mine was 20 total.
14.
5.
We have Frankie and Crossbowie.
How's it going out there?
5 this show.
Yep.
Me, Soomper.
I got 20 total.
All right, Xander 14.
Yeah.
We have Pikeman got a 9. Bowie got a 5. I'll just do Pikeman and Bowie right next to each other. We got Cecil with the 14. Oh, he has advantage on initiative. And with his advantage on initiative, got a 2. All right. As this happens, what do the rest of you guys do? What's your reaction? Not a test, but just give us
Well, from my angle, I could probably see that happening.
yeah.
Then
And
I'll
You hear a shriel and you hear the water.
yell back to the others. Trouble ahead. Soomper's getting attacked. He said hello.
Hello in there. Oh, did I get?
And I'll take off running towards over here, and I will. I'm going to start. I'll start playing and give Soomper a bardic inspiration that he can use.
All right. You start hearing tunes being played. Soomper, it starts on you. You got a natural 20. You have something biting into the back of your heel.
Did I get hurt when it bit me?
7
Yeah.
points.
How much
7
damage?
points of piercing
Oh,
damage.
7. I didn't hear that. Sorry. Well, I will try to get my leg free first of all.
All right. Roll me a strength check.
11 total.
Okay, so you have bardic inspiration.
And I. So
You
does
can
that?
roll another
Right.
1d8 and add to it.
I will use my bardic inspiration. So I add a D8 to my roll.
All right. He got a 15.
Fuck, dude, I rolled a 1 with my bardic inspiration.
You suck.
Like 12 total.
So you reach down and start to pull his jaws apart, and you're looking in his it's like giant soulless eyes of a reptile, and you're just unable to move it. I'll let you rip your leg out if you want to take extra damage.
Can I make one look though? Like, is this a creature that needs to live in the water? You know what I mean? You said it's a reptile, so I don't know if that means it's like.
You can't get a sense of that if you want to rip your leg off. There's only so much you can do in 6 seconds.
Rip my leg off. Okay. Maybe
Or
I
rip
don't
part
want
of your calf open.
Fuck.
Split
I
second,
will.
5, 4.
Yeah, no, I'll not do anything at this point. I don't want to take extra damage.
Okay. Cecil's
Well,
turn. As he hears all this happen, he's not in a good position to see anything. So he starts running up alongside of the wall here.
Cecil and I both got a 14, or he got a 16?
He got a 19.
Okay.
And he goes and stands on this box here, trying to get a good vantage point of what it is. After standing on that top box, he can see it and go, "Giant lizard!" And he's going to take his extra movement to crouch here behind the leg and crouch for the remainder of this turn. Xander, it is now on you.
Okay. So I can see this giant lizard from where I'm at. Right?
Yep. If you jump on the boxes, you'll have a clear line of vision. Otherwise, you just kind of get a sense of what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I can jump up on those and get a more bird's eye point of view on him.
Oh, yeah.
And how big is he?
Most of them's underwater, but if you wanted to take a bonus action, you could examine that water and kind of get a good take on it.
Well, I mean, how much is out of the water? Let me rephrase that.
Oh, probably about 8 feet.
Okay. So if 8 feet's out of the water and it's like to the middle of his back or so, or
Nope, you just see longness.
I mean, it's like all the head out of the water.
Yes, long head and long neck, and or body.
Okay. So if his head is at Soomper, then I'll go back down its back to like the base of the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to cast Shatter on it at 3rd level.
All right, that would be right here.
So I can cast it within 60 feet, and it's a 10-foot sphere. So
All right. Yeah, and you can cast it in such a way that it's not going to hit him.
right.
So you can cast it down here, and you know it'll hit underwater.
So it is going to be. Let me see. It's a Constitution saving throw. Needs to make a 16.
Dun-dun-dun. He failed.
And he will take. Oh, that sucks. 15 thunder damage.
Ooh. As suddenly the water just starts to almost evaporate with their visceral noise that begins to shake it. It sounds like rocks themselves are screeching against chalkboards, and he rips, as a kind of a reaction here, rips his teeth out of Soomper's leg. He just hear, and sets his head right back where it was. How much damage? 16?
That was 15.
15 points of damage.
It was
All right.
6, a 6, a 2, and a 1.
All right.
And I will as my bonus action, as I can do something, as I always can, I will do, as a bonus action, I will use my Bardic Inspiration again, and I'll give it to Soomper again.
All right. What
Soomper,
kind of tune is that?
feel
Yeah,
inspired again. Try not to waste it this time.
Tell that to my dice.
all right. And the pikemen begin to run up. I guess the pikeman runs up here. The bowman kind of stands back, trying to get a better vantage point of where exactly to go. The monster then pulls its body more out. The mouth itself shoots toward your neck, Soomper, as he strikes with a 19. Another head comes out of the water and darts at you as well, and he hits an 11.
Second one doesn't hit.
And then another head comes out of the water and strikes with a 22.
Doesn't hit. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see. 5 and 3. 8. 16 points of damage as these two bite on and pull back. Here, rearing up, you see a very large Loch Ness Monster type creature.
Oh.
Coming out of the water, snapping at you. It is now, Show, your turn. And
All right.
Fiddle is on deck.
So how visible is he from where I'm standing right now behind these boxes? Can I see what's going on at all? Can I get a shot at him at all, or do I need to move?
You can now just see one of the heads sticking up over the top of the dead creature. I mean, it's a giant carcass. So most of his body is under the water or at water level.
Well, I would like to be able to see him, get a little bit of a clearer shot. Maybe if I got onto these boxes right in front of me, I guess I'd like to give that a try.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see.
All right, so I can move my own guy. That's right. So this guy get up here, and let's see what the distance we got going here is. How do you do that again?
You got the viewer here. 57 feet to his heads.
All right, excellent. Then in that case, I too. Soomper, wait, shit. How close is Soomper to this guy? Wrong tab.
You can't.
Still
see
pretty
Soomper.
close. I can't even see Soomper. All right, well then I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to fire a Eldritch Blast right at its head.
All right, roll.
And I will roll. It's a total of 10.
You see his head shaking, kind of like a turkey when you're hunting, and it moves just out of the way as one flies by. You see the head look back at the Eldritch Blast as it flies away. The other head looks directly at you.
Shit.
Let's see. Siddle takes that opportunity, and you look down as Siddle's running right underneath you as he runs toward this body to get a better take on what's going on. You see him grab 2 daggers out of his underside and tosses one as he jumps over the head of this creature, and then hits the ground and moves left a bit. Natural 1, Soomper. You let's say 1 through 3 he hits you. 4 through 6 he hits himself. Soomper, you have a dagger in your foot as well now.
Oh, shit. Okay.
1d4. You go ahead and take 4 damage there. He goes, fuck! I'm sorry, mate. And he goes over here. He's like, don't worry, I got your back the rest of this. You're getting out alive. Super, it is now your turn once again. Cecil's on deck, and then Xander.
All right. I will back up a little bit to like right here.
All right.
And because the creature is mostly submerged in water, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast Call Lightning, and I'll say, I come from the land of the ice and snow! Even though not really. I come from the forest. But...
And you also have an inspiration. You can
Coming down. Lands. What do you have to roll for lightning?
I hit. One second. Let me read this real quick. Attack / save is Dex 15.
Okay.
So I believe I have to roll 15 or more, right?
No, he has to roll for a dex save.
Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I fucking roll that shit.
He gets a 12.
Yeah. Do I get any bonus since he's in water?
No idea.
Go ahead and roll damage. Yeah, let's say it's in water, disadvantage on dex saves.
Okay, he gets disadvantage. That's fine. So it's 3d10, 8 plus 5, 13, plus 5, 18 damage total to him.
Okay, and Cecil got a 14.
Does he get hit too?
He's in the water.
Oh, I thought he was outside the water.
we just go, sorry, bro, I've got you from here on out.
Yeah, it's just.
So you see Cecil was just about to jump into the water, barely like pulls himself back as he sees you casting something in the storm rising above, but his feet are still in there. You can hear the creature just shriel, a very high-pitched shriel. Cecil kind of just backs up and kind of huddles to the ground. How much points is that?
It was 18 total of damage.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cecil backs up, looks at you, just gives you a snarl, and then jumps in head first, diving into the water. Swimming over to the back of this thing, takes a short sword he has, or a scimitar he has, and just jabs it in the side, swimming down under the water with it. You lose sight of him. And then a few seconds later, I can't grab him, huh? A few seconds later, he pops up on the other side of the creek river itself with one less scimitar. Xander, it is now your turn. The pikemen and the bowmen are next.
So how far did he move?
Who was that?
Could he come from there to there, underneath it, and back over to there
He seemed to.
in half terrain?
He seemed to.
How far distance is he from it right now?
18 feet.
I am going to cast Fairy Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hit the creature and Cecil. It's a 20-foot cube, so I'm going to put them both.
Lauren, two things.
All right.
Probably by accident, but Cecil and the creature will be in Fairy Fire. It is a dex save of 16, and if they're in water and they have advantage on that dex.
Okay. So both of them have advantage?
Advantage, disadvantage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it could be advantage. Who knows?
I mean, I was just going off what you just said. So,
All right, Cecil just jumped. Cecil is able to jump back, seeing what you cast. Hits the ground behind him in a pile of rocks. You can see his glare a little bit through the head of this creature. The creature, though, doesn't even see it coming. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
There's no damage, but he lights up, and the creature lights up in a violet light, and all attacks against it are at advantage.
Okay. And then no effect to Cecil?
No effect to Cecil.
Okay. The pikeman goes and runs up to this portion here and begins to crawl over the dead carcass to try to get a better vantage point. The bowman climbing over the thing launches a volley, strikes as just as one of the heads goes right in the eyeball. It makes that noise for some reason. And then as the heads rear back, his body comes out of the water. One of the heads goes and tries to grapple you, Soomper. That's a strength check of 12.
And I roll for strength too.
Yep.
Okay. Don't say anything yet, Super. I don't want to know the result because I'm going to use cutting words on it, and I'm going to lower its ability check. Because I'm going to use my reaction and lower its ability check by 5.
Okay. So you lower by 5.
And I rolled 13 total for strength.
Nice. And you're able to pull that one away. His other two heads also go and try to grapple you. And he gets a 3 plus. So he gets a 7 and then a 15. So you got to beat roll twice. Roll twice. Your
So
second.
I beat the first one. I got 15 there. And then the third one gets me. I got 8 there. Or, excuse me, 7 there.
Okay. He goes ahead and grabs you with his last head and then begins to move backwards, carrying you into the water.
That motherfucker.
Let's see, what's his... And you are a very small creature. So he's able to get you about right there in the grasp of his leftist-most head. Sho, it is now your turn.
All right. Well, as much as these engineers could use help or protection, I'm going to try and move in a little bit closer to have a clearer shot on this guy. So I'd like to move over to where Xander is, and that is, I can still have an action after that, right?
Yep, but it's 40 feet, so I don't know what your movement is, but you can get, the first box is about 31 feet, and that should give you some viewpoint.
All right, so I'll move up there.
Okay.
Boom. And given that they're still pretty tangled up in there, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to fire another Eldritch Blast at any visible heads.
Okay.
And prone now. That's more like it. 20 total. Which I am assuming will hit.
You hit.
And then I'm going to roll for damage. I'm just going to double check since it's been a little while since we've been in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is correct. 1d10. All right, which is one of these dice. Excuse me.
And you did roll with advantage, right?
To hit? No, I did not roll with advantage. I just rolled regularly.
Go ahead and roll to see if you get a nat 20.
I did not, so
Yeah.
but I appreciate that.
You hit nonetheless.
9. I'm just going to go do this in the program because I cannot tell which one of these is a D10 right now, and I don't want to hold this up for too long. And one for some reason.
It's the almost D21.
It's the almost D21? I thought I saw
D12, isn't it?
That's a 12, yeah.
It's the triangular looking. It's the diamond.
One looks like a diamond. Well, both-sided actually.
It's-
Looks like a diamond too. So.
It's 9 to 0. Okay, I see. The 0 is the 10.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Alrighty. And 7 points of damage on that guy.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, hop up to the crate, fire one off, and try and hit him right in the forehead.
Okay. You smack that forehead. It singes as the kind of retreats underneath. Just then, Siddle comes up, grabbing 2 more daggers, flying right at him. Ooh,
2 1s. Soomper gets both.
Siddle!
Right in the same foot.
I do not play one of these guys very often. Very interesting. Okay, so one of them hits. Is we got 4 plus the other beautiful damage here. All right. You see a dagger just stick into the neck and then also kind of retreat. Super.
My turn.
Your turn.
All right, so I'm like in the jaws of this creature, right?
Oh, 1 second, 1 second. The other thing you hear Siddle scream is, "Blow the man down!" And just then, you see, kind of unsuspectingly and with quick action,
Did Siddle roll with advantage?
he didn't. Ooh, nice. Both of them hit. Give me 1 minute. We'll just double that. All right, so, and then just blow the man down. And just then Cecil pulls out a dagger as well and just chucks it, also with advantage. And misses and flies by through the different heads that are out there. All right, Soomper, it's your turn.
So I'm in like the jaws of this creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I reach my hand like into its mouth.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I would fairly be.
You can get the lips. You can get the lips. He's grabbing onto one of your clothing on your pants, if you will, and just has a hold of you there.
Oh, so I'm not like in its jaws, so I couldn't reach my hand into its mouth.
You could try.
I try.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
I am trying to shoot ice knife directly down its fucking throat, baby.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a dex.
Fucking nat 1. Dude.
With advantage, it's an attack roll.
Oh, do I?
No, this is just a dex to get his hand through. You're not able to get your hand through. You're pushing against the teeth, and he just has too much plaque, and you can't get the hand through. You can still shoot the attack though.
Right. Fuck. Okay.
Right up into the gums.
Yeah, but the explosion would hit me too.
You got another head.
We will. I'll go ahead and shoot Ice Knife, but I'm not gonna try to shoot for the I'll shoot for his body or whatever. You know, because if there's a 5-foot explosion around it,
Yeah, go ahead.
I will shoot it. Bada boom, and it's a +7 to hit. 18 total to hit.
Advantage.
You hit.
Nice. And it does 1d10, and I shot it at level 3, so it does 1d10.
Did you try advantage?
I don't think I need advantage because I already hit, I guess, at this point.
Go for a 20.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Might as well. Whoa, shit. Nah, it didn't.
All right.
But yeah, you're right. I should have done that. So 8 on the initial damage, like for the hit of the Ice Knife. Then the explosion, since it's level 3, is 4d6. So it is 8 plus 6, 14, 20 with another 6, 25. Damn. 31 total.
Oh, good job.
It was a fucking ice is all nice.
31?
Yeah, dude. Because it was a D10 and then 4d6.
All right. The head that you shoot at flies off, just being frozen and falls into the ground next to you.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Cecil just goes, "Oh yeah!" He pulls out another scimitar and dives straight into the water. You see him in an ungodly speed swim over to the other creature, jam his scythe right into its gullet to pry his scimitar into the gullet to pry his other scimitar out with advantage. Yeah, hits with that one. And hits with a punch as he punches in to grab his scimitar. Fucker's going to do tons of damage. Let's see. Oh. All right. The creature's still alive. So he looks pretty bad. And then Cecil pushes off, kicks back, and swims a little bit toward the tail of this creature. All right. Xander, it's now your turn, and then the monster.
It is my turn. All right.
The head on the ground is still moving around.
I am going to take my. So it's got the head that has Soomper and then one other head.
Yep. What? Yep.
All right. And the other head, how close is that to Soomper?
About 5 feet.
All right. So it's about 5 feet away from him. So slightly on the other side of that head, I'm going to cast Shatter. That's second level.
All right.
And that'll be a 16 con save.
He passes.
Then he will take a massive amount of 5 damage.
Soomper, you become damn near deaf with a shrieking that sounds to come from around. The water again evaporates. Just as he begins to pull you under, He's moving back. The last thing you see as you're clawing at the earth is the head that you were able to chop off now slithering up underneath the carcass of this creature. You're surrounded in muddy water. You can't see anything. He goes ahead and strikes for 16 on
Strikes
you.
Oh,
Yep.
to hit. Yeah, he hits me.
As the other head bites down on you and rips off a piece of flesh for 5 points of damage. You almost lose some of your air. Give me a Constitution save to see how much air you hold on to.
All right. 12 total.
Okay. You almost lose it, and you kind of pull some back, but a big bubble of air comes out of you. We'll keep track of time as you're underwater. Just then, Cecil, on the back, you hear Siddle scream, "Chop him down!" Once again. And then he dives under the water. The rest of you guys see splashing in water, but neither Soomper, the baddie, or Cecil, as Cecil's feet kick underwater. Xander, it's now your turn. You see a lot of splashing.
All right. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to draw my rapier and my dagger and dive in on top of it.
All right. Pull them out, and you jump in underwater as well. There's splashing all around you. What would you like to do?
I'm going to attack.
All right.
I've got a 23 and a 25 with the dagger, and a 16 and a 13 with the rapier. So it'd be a 16 and a 25. They're with advantage, so.
Yeah. I'm thinking about how this works out. Okay, that makes sense. You found something. You plunged both of your weapons into. Roll me 2d4s.
Everyone, or?
Nope, just him. If it's a 1, you got Soomper.
It was pretty good. Like, all things considered, I kind of challenged.
Did that show up on yours?
I'm not looking. I got too many screens.
That was 2 1s.
All right, roll damage.
How would I, if I'm diving in, how am I aiming for the head versus the body? Isn't it a big creature?
Yeah, it's a big creature. It's all underwater, and you don't know where anything is. It's really muddy water in the sense that you probably have maybe an inch of visibility. I had it only as a 1 instead of a 50-50 chance with the size of him.
That would be 14 total.
All right, Soomper. 14 points of damage, my friend.
15 points of damage?
14.
Oh, I'm at 0 then.
Just then, bloop, your breath leaves you. Underwater, the vision around you of just mud brown, the light slowly tunnels until you see nothing.
Soomper frowns.
The pikeman comes up and sees the other head of this creature and goes ahead and swings, missing at it. The bowman runs up, hearing everybody jumping in. Again, shoots at the head of this other creature, which again, I guess is still fairy fired. Both of those hit, and the head is decapitated. So, it is now your turn. Xander is underwater. Soomper is underwater. The monster is underwater. What is it that you will do?
I'm sorry, is it my turn?
Yep.
I didn't hear you say show. Okay. You mentioned that there could be like an action taken in order to make out. How murky is the water? Can I see anything under there, or is it just like a surface and invisible?
Yeah, there's a lot of thrashing. You don't see anything, but you could kind of come up, if you took a bonus action, let's say, to observe it, you could kind of come up with a sense of where mass is, or where mass is moving, put it that way. Which you can attack without disadvantage. I'll give you that.
Shit. Well, I am going to. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to throw any damage in there, but I'm going to try to. So I'm going to use my bonus action to observe carefully and see if I can't make out the largest moving thing in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is glowing.
And the largest moving glowing thing in there that I had just been attacking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to cast sleep on it.
Okay. This is about back here. You notice this creature has moved back quite a bit underwater.
Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to cast sleep at second level.
Okay.
And just for the sake of expediting this whole thing, because that's a total of, I believe, 7d8s that I have to roll. I'm just going to do it right here in the program. So, or rather, I have. Yeah, that's it.
You could just type /roll 78.
Yeah. For a total of 27.
Let me check. I don't think you got it, to be honest with you. Okay, you've casted it.
Okay, so now nothing seems to float to the top to stop moving and being asleep, apparently. So must not be that weak yet. And I guess that's all I can do with my turn, correct? Because I already used my bonus action, so I can't move around or anything like that.
Correct.
So I'm just gonna shout.
You
Hey,
can move. You can move. You always get an action, a bonus action, and movement.
And a movement.
Yep.
I don't think I'm going to be of any use getting into the fray or getting any closer. So I'm just going to shout and maybe try to help orient them or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to yell, "Hey, Soomper, hey, Xander."
All right. Just then, Siddle comes over to the water's edge right by you, Xander. Looking around what to do, has two daggers in his hand, puts one back and puts a hand on something else underneath his coat and pulls it out. It's an odd looking contraption. It's got a handle like it would be a sword, but it's not. It seems to have gears or something about it. In your quick look, you really can't make it out. He yells, Cecil, if you can hear me, avast me hearties. And that's all that he does. Soomper, roll a death save for me. Right.
17, so I got one save.
Nice work.
Okay, we can put this one.
The water begins to die down as far as splashing and movement. There's a still about it. As that happened, I have to. Whoo! I have to check. Let me do some math here. You guys can shout things and plan up top if you'd like. Read me a sleep spell if you would, Andy. Or if you could search what sleep does.
Yeah, so it's
Wake them up if they get hit.
yes.
What if they just get touched?
Yes, slapped or take damage.
Okay.
Not just. I don't think it's just touched. That would probably be a. It would have to be some kind of forceful.
Right, yeah, but like push or something, aroused from sleeping, however that would be.
Yeah.
Undead and creatures immune to being charmed are also unaffected by the spell.
Okay. Xander, as you're looking down, trying to make sense of what's going on in the water, back by the feet of this carcass, you notice there's some movement. Looking there, you see a massive humanoid creature come out, dragging the head or a head of this creature, slowly pulling it out, and you see that Soomper is within the head, or within the mouth of this head. He places him down and looks to you all and says, I got him! The fucker's still down there.
So Cecil is holding the head up out of the water.
He's holding it as high as he can.
And the creature appears to still be asleep.
As far as you can tell, there's no movement in the water. Or a little bit of movement in the water, let's put it that way.
And is
Trying to make sense of things
are
happening at the
jaws
same
like
time.
clamped on Soomper, or does he have his clothing?
What did you say?
Are the jaws clamped around him, or do they have his clothing?
They have his clothing.
All right. So is it my go?
Yep.
All right.
Phil, you're next.
I will run over to where Cecil's holding him up and try to cut the clothing free from the mouth.
All right. Yeah, you're able to get over there and do that without issue. Soomper falls kind of to the ground where he was being pulled, I guess, along the ground. Kind of falls free. You can tell he's unconscious.
So if I'm able to, so what have I done as far as action wise?
Let's say you used a bonus action to cut that off. It's a piece of clothing, so it doesn't take too much.
All right. So as my action then, Soomper, dang it. I mean, I guess I am the one that killed you, but that's not my fault. That's Mike's fault. I'll cast Cure Wounds at first level on him.
All right. Soomper, give us a little cinematic. What was that whole experience like? You can start from wherever you want. Underwaterness going out. What did you think about when you were unconscious? And then what does it feel and look like to come back alive?
Well, going unconscious. Unconscious. I was really scared, not just for myself, but I thought maybe I didn't want anybody else in my party to get hurt, and I know that they, I try to help them, and with me dying, that's not good. But then when I came back, I was just like, kind of
Wake up.
like looking around wildly,
Mm-hmm. You see the head right next to you.
and I just go, and I roll over like backwards or whatever, like away from it.
Okay.
Not necessarily skillfully, just like panic, kind of rolling away, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Oh, how much do I get? Just one?
10.
10.
So just then you notice a body float, begin to birth out of the water, and then go back under. Doesn't seem like it had much life to it, if any.
Did you repeat that?
As you're watching the water and you're watching Soomper, you see kind of a body kind of come out of the water, and the water kind of push along a bloated belly. You can see slashes and serrations in it. No sign of any heads or anything, and then it sinks down to the bottom. Not with much movement, or sinks down underneath the surface. Not with much movement, but
I'd like to take stock of everybody who is in our group. I like to look around. Is everybody accounted for? Pikey, Bowie. I see I see 1, 2, and T there. Have we got the 2 sailor bounty hunters? Are they around?
Aye.
And we got Soomper over here. He just spazzed out and came back to life. Thank goodness. Xander. So this body is somebody else out of the party. Everybody's accounted for.
Everyone's accounted for.
Oh, and that X through the thing, we did kill that extra head that crawled away or whatever. Did anybody see
that's the head.
Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I thought I saw one crawling away under the body. Or whatever.
I thought that I heard that too. Yeah, I thought that I saw that as well.
The pikeman smashed him, and the bowman shot him, and it was enough damage to end him.
Well, I mean, I'm tempted. I just saw a head. I just saw a body in there, and I'm tempted to figure out what's going on. But I'm also not going to jump into that body of water because it seems like we almost just lost a party member doing that.
Yeah, we can go ahead and say initiative has broken for now.
All right, I'm gonna cast healing wounds on myself then.
Okay.
2nd level cure wounds. I mean. 8 plus 4.
Whew.
Cecil goes and looks at you, Soomper, goes, "Holy hell, that was something, huh? You look pretty good about yourself."
Yeah, I mean, I've almost died like 5 times the last month or so.
Like, aye, small pea that packs a punch.
Yeah, I like
over.
like, hey,
Hello.
hello in there.
So the rest of these guys move far back from the water. Behind the body. Would you guys like to do anything?
Hey, let's go ahead and get past this water and let's
get out. Yeah. Let's move out of here. I agree.
Let's get past this.
All right, and you guys are able to walk through. You walk next to the on the tracks, put you at a little bit of a higher vantage point of the water. You're constantly scanning the water, looking for movement, looking for some sign of life, some sign of ambush. Every floating log that you see for about a quarter mile distance as the tracks and the water coincide.
Cecil, did you want any of that hide or perhaps some of those horns?
I'll pass. Not enough adventure for one bit. But thank you for asking, my friend. He gives you a wink. You're able to move past it without issue. Keeps you on edge. You eventually get into the woodlands that they seem to have been logged a bit not too long ago. They turn into a big prairie. Your wounds slowly healing, your heart slowly catching up with itself. Though you do have an adventure ahead, carrying the drunken carcass of your good friend Red Cloud. After a long journey of several hours, you see the large tower, the large walls of Ironton in front of you. Going through the gates, you have made it. It's about 5 p.m. in the afternoon. The city is doing what the city does. The sleuts are doing what the sleuts do. And the people who are hiring them, well, they're not on the street. What is it what you'd like to do in Ironton?
Well,
We need to go back to Elamar.
I suppose, we should escort our dwarven entourage to wherever it is we take them, which I assume would be Elamar's.
Let's take them back to Elamar so that we have proof to him that we made all 5 of them back.
Let's fully complete the mission and see them safely to their destination.
All right, so you move through the town.
Well, yeah, but before we go there, let's pass by a bar or something.
Are you thirsty, Xander? What's going on?
No, because we don't need to take Cecil and Settle with us to Elamar. So, as a look, we'll meet back up with you here, but we have something we have to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are you gentlemen going?
We need to see Elamar.
We're an official business of the crown.
Ah, yes. So much has seemed to transpire since our first encounter subterranean. I forgot about your mission originally. I hope all goes well for you. Sure.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Picky Bowie. And you, Zen.
And to you. We'll meet back up. I don't want to leave this encounter with you having any kind of doubts about me. So, we will be coming back to see you.
Then we will be here. We have a ship right off the coast. I'll spend this time to take care of our resupplies and get in touch with our mates. We'll see each other again, for sure, Xander.
Well, let's schedule a time. How about tomorrow at noon? There's a nice place that that we've gone to before. Where did we meet the wood guy at?
The Black Stag.
Yeah, the Black Stag. How about we meet at the Black Stag at noon tomorrow?
Very well. I'll catch you there.
Tomorrow then, and he'll hold out his hand. You two are hell of fighters. We appreciate the assist.
Aye. So they go off, looking at the bar that you kind of took them to, looked at each other, and they walk in. Door shuts behind them.
All right. Let's see, LMR. I need to find a new loot. And a bank. And it's a good thing you lost that range, because I'm going to need some gold there, Soomper.
Well, you guys are walking to Elamar's place. Is there anything you guys would like to talk about? Or go straight
I'm
there?
really super, man. Like, how you doing, dude? What? You almost just got eaten. I ripped your toe off. It's been a rough day for you, man. I just want to say, sorry. And I'm glad that the last thing that transpired between us wasn't me removing your toe and then you saying hello and then being consumed by a sea monster. It's good that you are here. And I'm sorry I couldn't have done more to help keep you alive.
No, it's okay. It's okay. And Soup is like, kind of seems a little traumatized, but he's doing all right. It's like, yeah, no, it's fine. Things are good. Just another day for old Soomper.
No, this was a bad day.
You almost turned into a plant, too. I forgot about that between everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening right now. I kind of need to, once we do this, like return the engineers, maybe I need to take a little nappy poo or something. I got pretty beat up pretty good back there, too.
I hear that. You got the worst of it.
Yeah.
So, Show, you have the best rapport with LMR. Perhaps you can go speak with him. Soomper, I don't know how much I'm going to need, but you seem to be the treasury guy, so perhaps 50 gold, and I need to go pick up Conan and prepare for my meeting tomorrow.
Wait, 50 gold for what?
Conan is being boarded right now while he had his leather armor made. I need to go get him.
So you need me to give you 10, or you need to give me to give you 50 gold?
Well, I also have to buy a new loot so that I can show them a different instrument tomorrow.
Don't you have any money, Xander?
I've never had any money.
You've never had any money? Weren't you hired to perform at the ball?
And I made roughly 10 gold, which went towards Conan's armor.
I feel like I bought something for you already, too.
You did. You also paid for part of that because I have no money.
Dang, man, you got to start earning your keep. You got to start busking out on the street or something.
Everything
like
we made,
sponsoring you.
Super took. How was I supposed to get any money?
Maybe that's just the racket that we run. But you know what it is.
It was
All right,
never-
that's fair. That's a fair point.
All right.
Super. Do you have money now? Do you feel comfortable talking about money that you have and how much there is of it?
I got money, and I'll give him 50 pieces of gold.
Okay, so I'm not sure how much of that was Soomper, how much that was the ring back in this, but
It's all good. I'll give you the 50.
It's all good.
He's still a stingy asshole. It's like
I'm like, yeah, looking at the ring, like, did this actually do
I mean, technically, I did kind of bring you back from the dead. I mean,
Here's your 50 gold, bucko. I took 50 gold out of my thing, so you have.
I mean, technically, I kind of made you dead, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, you almost killed me. You can't pay me anything.
and I brought you back. It was very dark in there, very dark.
But, hey, Mike, is now a good time to maybe call it for the night? I want to go hang out with Christina.
100%.
Yeah, I think that's good.
All right.
You're in the town. You are heading to Elamar's place. You still have a day and a half until a meeting with the king. You have to
Nice.
potentially do around town, and that's what we'll pick up next time.
Beautiful.
Successful mission.
Yeah.
I think you get
I think that's like our first big mission that we fully complete because we have a lot of like really large overarching missions, right?
Mhm.
This is
Yeah,
like
I was thinking about this. It's like you got the paladins. You finally killed the assassin.
right.
Got to Ironton, and this is the first like cut and dry, go do this task and come back thing.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
So 5 points of experience for all.
Halfway there. Oh.
But anyways,
Well,
guys,
for our one maybe someday viewer, thanks for watching.
Yes, and tune in next time on Shoreshack Adventures.
And exit.